Welcome to Literally. I'm Anthony Rosenberg, and today we're looking at three very peculiar words. Jibber jabber, which is a verb or a noun. Gibberish, which is a noun, probably coming from jibber jabber. And gobbledygook, which is a fun word. All right, let's get into it. First one, jibber jabber. As I said, a verb or a noun. That's the pronunciation. You can probably see it up here somewhere. So if you're into the pronunciation symbols, take note. Jibber jabber probably comes from the Anglo-Romani word jib, and that means language or tongue. I'm not really up on my Romani, so I'm just using the dictionary terminology here. Just for those who don't know, this is Romania, and this is where Romani is spoken. Now, Romanians have traveled quite a lot extensively over Europe, especially with immigration issues in Europe at the moment. So we see lots of Romanian people speaking Romani. Surprisingly, Romani is a language that has a mixture of a lot of stuff. You can sometimes identify an English word, a Japanese word, a Portuguese word. So there's Romania, just north of Bulgaria and east of Serbia and Hungary. All right, so to the noun jib sort of transformed into jibber jabber, either jibber or jabber, or both together, as we've seen at the top there, jibber jabber, and that's our verb. So it's often used to say that we're speaking inarticulately. Somebody who speaks really fast, and things become very messy in the language. We say that they are gibbering, or they're jabbering, or they're jibber jabbering. Right? So you can use both of them together. As I said, rapidly is commonly a problem with this one, talking too quickly, and I often find this with horse racing on the radio. If you're listening to horse racing, even on the television, horse racing when they're calling the race and saying, oh, so-and-so's in the first and this horse is coming second and up from the back, and it becomes very, very fast because the horses are obviously running fast, and the speaker tries to keep up. I find that jibber jabber. It's very hard to understand. Another way that we use jibber jabber or jabber is when people are talking nonsense. They're just saying things that don't make sense. Now that can be for many different reasons, and we'll have a look at that with the next word, which is gibberish. So here's gibberish, and the pronunciation thing should be up there as well. If you'd like to know about pronunciation, we may have another post on that later on. So gibberish is a noun. Even though it looks like an adjective, it is a noun. Coming from the word jib, as I said, to move into jibber and not jabber, but jib, yeah, probably jabber as well, and then finally gibberish. The idea is that it's fast, inarticulate, and usually nonsense. So we can use that as a noun. I've got some examples at the end of the presentation here to show you how to use these words. The origin of the word gibberish could be this guy's fault. Now, Jabir is or was an 8th century Persian alchemist. Now he's not a villain, but he was a scientist. Some people would say the same thing. Anyway, why would we attribute the word gibberish to Jabir? So when you Latinize Jabir's name, I'm not even going to try and say his last name because Anglo-Saxons trying to pronounce foreign words is sometimes laughable. All right, so Jabir, when his name became Latinized, it became Jaber or Jabir, and that sort of moved forward into gibber and then finally gibberish. Possibly. There's it's not necessarily true, but this is one of the theories behind the word gibberish, of the origin of the word. So why is Jabir our villain? Because Jabir was an alchemist, and he would talk to his other buddies, probably alchemists and other scientists, and they would talk about very complex things. So it's possible that what they spoke about was complex with using jargon and things like that. So a lot of people probably couldn't understand them, and therefore we'd say, oh, you're speaking gibber or gibber, meaning speaking like Jabir or Jabir, and therefore the word became gibberish. So this is one of the possible theories behind the origin of the word gibberish. You speak like Jabir, so you speak gibberish. Our last word is gobbledygook. That's a noun, as I said. Lots of letters in there, and the pronunciation can be tricky if you try to read all the letters. So there's your pronunciation symbol up here somewhere, and try not to read all the letters. The E after the L is silent, so gobbledygook, gobbledygook. If you say it in two parts, it's probably easier. So gook, gobbledygook, gobbledygook. And it is a noun, as I said. The origin of this word isn't as exciting as the story behind the word gibberish. So back in 1944 in the US, someone complained about the contracts that were being written for delivery of products, that they were too complex. They were written in jargon with very, not your everyday language. So somebody said, we've got to stop using gobbledygook and start writing in plain English. And this is one of the origins that gave rise to the plain English movement. Now, the plain English movement got its origins around this time, 44, 46. George Orwell wrote about it. Yes, the author from 1984. The author of 1984, right? He was from much earlier. So he also said that we need to start writing things in a more accessible way. In 47, 48, something like that, in the UK, there was a treasurer or a former treasurer in the government, and he also put forth an idea of people writing in plain English, and it moved on through the ages. 77, 79, there were policies put forward by the US government and the UK government to stop using so much jargon and write in plain English. In Australia, they use what's called the Plain English Version or the Plain English Guide for many laws. So basically the law is written and issued, and then they have to rewrite it in plain English so that the general public can understand it. So the lawyers always have a good job, and so do technical writers. So the Plain English movement is alive and well, and there are lots of books, and here are some for you. There's one there, the Book of Gobbledygook, Plain English Writing for Lousy Writers. And the other one is Eliminating the Gobbledygook, Secrets to Writing Plain Language Procedure. There are many books. These are just two of them, but there are many books on eliminating gobbledygook and writing in plain English. If you're excited about writing in plain English and it's something that you need to do, these are good starting points. All right, let's have a look at some examples. I've got some very simple examples of how to use these words, two of each, I think, just so you can have an idea of where you would use them in the sentence. So the first one is, stop talking jibber jabber. So here it's used as a noun, jibber jabber. And here's one as a verb. We are just jabbering about stuff. It means we're talking with no real commitment. It's probably stuff that's not important or a little bit nonsensical. We're just jabbering about stuff, just having a chat. All I can hear is gibberish. So here is the point of view of the listener. So gibberish here is the idea of something that is unintelligible. I can't understand it. So this is what I say when I listen to horse racing on the radio or horse racing on the TV. All I can hear is gibberish. It's very hard to understand all the words that the caller is saying. He speaks so fast it comes out as gibberish. So there's a classic example of the use of the word gibberish as a noun. The text is just gobbledygook. So here's our word gobbledygook, sort of in the same sense as gibberish. Basically it means this text is unintelligible. They're using so much jargon, so much complex language that I can't really understand it. It's just gobbledygook. And here's an example from me. Computer coding is just gobbledygook to me. So when I see computer coding, it's so complex and so full of jargon and so full of things I don't understand, I call it gobbledygook. That doesn't mean that the writer believes it's gobbledygook, but certainly me as the reader, I believe it is gobbledygook. All right, so we're finishing up. One last look at our words. We've got Jibber jabber, remember it can be a verb. I'm gibbering, I'm jabbering, I'm jibber jabbering. It can be a noun, you're speaking jibber jabber. We've got gibberish, a noun, so it's all gibberish to me. All I can hear is gibberish. And the last one is gobbledygook. So this text is gobbledygook. I hope you've enjoyed it. And that is all from me today at Literally. See you next time.